So a few weeks ago, there was a master plan announcement for the future of Mississippi State athletics and facilities and all that stuff. And the conversation around that was, hey, renderings look good, all that stuff, no definitive timeline, have no idea when these things are going to happen. Today, for one of those items, the most important item on that, as we talked about back then, got a lot more real. So, hey, Dad, what are the details?
Mississippi State made the announcement earlier today that they will be breaking ground on the new indoor practice facility, which I've always been kind of in two minds of, because in this day and age, what do facilities really mean for a school? But, you know, where are you putting your money? But Richard likes to say this a lot. You can't tell somebody where to donate their money. And if they want a practice facility with their name on it, well, by gum, that's what they're going to get. The Howard, what will it be called exactly here? Hold on. The
Howard House. I'm kidding.
Well, that's more or less what it is, yeah. Howard Industries is the main donor. It will be named the Billy W. Howard Senior Indoor Practice Facility. It is a $60 million facility, which that's big money, right? I mean, Dudy Noble Field cost $60 million. But at the same time, I think we all know that, you know, eggs didn't cost in 2018 what they cost in 2025 either. Yeah. So I don't know exactly what that means. The renderings are obviously very impressive. Scheduled to break ground in, I think, 2027 and open in 2028, with the final touches to all of State's football facilities being, in terms of what's going on with the SEAL building and the new practice facility and so on, done by 2029. So, you know, it's a project that they've got the gift in place. They still need to fundraise for it. This is one of those things where you make the announcement, hey, we're going to do this, but we need your support. And but that being said, Zach Selman has proven himself a good fundraiser for Mississippi State. He has raised a ton of money for the Bulldogs in his time as the athletic director, both from an NIL perspective and from a perspective like this of facility upgrades and money that just the university can use as well. So, you know, when you release those kind of renderings that State did with that master plan, it becomes, okay, well, it looks good on paper, but when are you going to actually put a shovel in the dirt? Well, State today gave you an idea of what's to come.
For sure. And you raised a good question that we see all the time. It's, well, do facilities matter anymore, especially in the player getting paid era? There was a headline that struck me. I knew this already, but this is why something like this had to get done. Mississippi State was the only school in the SEC that did not have a football-only indoor practice facility.
Correct.
That had to change.
It had to change. State, when it rains, State goes into Palmero, which is a baseball practice facility and was designed to be a baseball-only practice facility, and football had to take and use it at times. I don't know if State's ever lost a recruit because they don't have an indoor practice facility, but I can tell you at the same time, it just helps to have one. Recruits, yes, they are concerned about their NIL deals first and foremost, but they like to have these shiny toys, man. They want to, that when they do sign, that they get to spend time in top-notch facilities. You can't just say, okay, yeah, we've got a lot of money to give you, but once you get here, you're playing in a dump. So
yeah, there's a baseball diamond in your practice facility.
Yeah, exactly. So, and you've got to walk from. I mean, there's a parking lot. You got to walk from one to the other. So it just made sense. Everybody else has one. You need to have one. And at this time, with the gift coming in that State was able to get, which apparently they didn't release the figure, and I did ask to try to get it off the record. I wouldn't tell you if I had gotten it, but they said that the donor was sensitive to the amount. Apparently, it is the largest donation, however, in Mississippi State athletic history. And we know that, in the past few years, there have been some sizable donations to Mississippi State.
Many millions of dollars.
Many million. There's definitely 2 commas, and then, is there 8 digits? I don't know. I think there might be, yes.
I've always been under the impression, especially talking to people that used to work in recruiting and stuff, that when it comes to facilities, you never have to have the best. Mm-hmm. But you definitely cannot have the worst.
Right. That's a good way of putting it. And if you don't have one at all, that's an issue.
I was thinking about the analogy. I'm going to pull a Cowherd here. It's kind of like when you're house hunting. Mm-hmm. As a recruit, you're house hunting and the backyard. So take LSU probably has the best facility in college football. It's brand new.
Very nice.
But let's just call it LSU. LSU's is the best.
Yeah.
They've got, when you're house hunting, they've got this backyard. It's a big backyard, brand new fence that's already been stained for you beautifully. It's a brand new fence, and it's landscaped perfectly, and you've even got a very tasteful koi pond over here on the side and a putting green next to your patio, all ready for you, like a pristine, beautiful backyard. What Mississippi State currently has is a backyard that's tiny, that has no grass growing on it, and there's no fence at all, and you look right into your neighbor's kitchen, and he likes to take his coffee in just his underwear in the morning, and he stares out that back window right at you. That's what they currently have. What you need is to bridge the gap between the two and just have a nice fence and a big yard with green grass.
What your neighbors have to go through on a daily basis?
I know somebody that has to deal with a neighbor staring into his house basically every morning.
It's like having a neighbor that rummages through your garbage.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Who would do that? Not me.
I'm just saying.
But that's what this is. State needs to go from the no fence, ugly backyard to you got a nice fence and it's landscaped well, and then it eliminates a negative against you.
And you go, like, in State's football facility is very nice. And State, the recruiting rooms that they have at Davis Wade Stadium are top notch. But it's just another thing and this is one thing that you didn't have. It's not even, Ole Miss's practice facility is nicer. State doesn't have one. And you can't be the only guy. And we'll go another analogy. If you live in the nicest neighborhood in town, you can't be the only guy who doesn't have a pool, right? Everybody's going to point and laugh at you. So State needed to get a pool, and they've got one now, or they're going to have one now. That being said, 2028. So your freshmen that will get to enjoy this for the first time are what, 7th graders, 8th graders, right? I guess that's not right.
Yeah.
They're 9th graders right now. So some kid in the 9th grade right now will be one of the first freshmen to get to play at Mississippi State and play and have this facility to use for them.
This is just me talking here. Nobody at Mississippi State has expressed something like this to me. And they may not even think like this at all.
They don't know you exist, Borky.
Oh, yes, they do. Okay. I've got a signed cowbell from the president of the university that says
he's the only one. He's the only one.
But there is a breakaway coming. It's coming soon. It's going to happen, and you don't want to be the school that doesn't even have a practice facility.
Yeah.
Like there is a time coming, a few years, I don't think it's long down the road, and we'll ask Sankey about it. You and me will get to sit down with him at media days. He'll deny it. It's coming.
You're gonna ask him. I'm just gonna walk away.
That's fine. It's coming. You don't want to, like Vanderbilt, worst stadium in the SEC by far, not anywhere close. They're fixing that because you don't want to have, Nashville's great, but have you been to a game there? Gosh, that place is awful.
Yeah.
They're fixing that. You don't want to be the school that, look, they're in the SEC. Starkville's a good town. We like going there, but, man, they practice in the baseball facility. Are we sure we want to bring those guys with us?
Yeah.
You eliminate those kind of things that could work against you because a breakaway is coming.
110,000 square foot facility with dedicated areas for sports science and renovations and expansions of the sports medicine, nutrition, and locker room areas within the current Leo Seal Jr. football complex. So basically, one thing we've talked about in the past is, they want these facilities to basically be the kids' home. Like they do everything but sleep the night in these football facilities. And it's kind of weird because you think about your college experience, you want to get out and see stuff. The coaches are like, get them under this roof and keep them there for as long as they can. And that's what you got to have, a top-notch facility that makes players want to stick around and not go back to their dorm room and do whatever. You want kids to you're keeping an eye on them at all times. And, especially with the investments that you're making in a lot of these players now, I get that.